Alright, let's wrap it up with our chapter 5 homework book, page 99 to 100, last two pages. Put on your thinking cap. These problems are challenging because you have to follow a certain logic through many steps, but if you're accurate through every step, that should be okay. And okay, I assume you read the problem. If not, pause the video and I will proceed with the solution. Okay, so Samuel and Paul had 720 stamps. Samuel gave 1/4 of his stamps to Paul. In return, Paul gave 1/3 of his total number of stamps to Samuel. Okay, then they had an equal number of stamps each. How many stamps did Samuel have at first? Good. Two things right away, right? Samuel and Paul had 720 stamps. So nothing changed. Like there were no stamps like lost or new stamps coming in. 720 always staying. And they tell us the first thing they tell us is they had an equal number of stamps each in the end, right? So this is what we do. 720 we divide by 2 and it's gonna be 360. Right, this is our first step. This is the equal number of stamps in the end. So we write it. Each had 360 stamps. Finally, right? Finally, in the end. Right? Now we need to follow carefully. So it's better if you can make some kind of a table, right? So let's try to make it accurately like this, right? So here we write Samuel, and here we write Paul, and here we write our last stage, finally, right? What happened in the end? So Samuel had 360 and Paul had 360, right? Now, in return, Paul gave 1/3 of his total number of stamps to Samuel. That was the previous step, right? Before they got 360. So what does that mean? It means that he gave 1/3 before, so 360 is actually 2/3 of total his number. 2/3 that are left, right? Okay. So that was the last step. So we go one step before. Paul gave 1/3 of his total number of stamps to Samuel, right? So let's write it. Let's call it Paul to Sam, right? Paul to Samuel, okay? So what is one? So if 300 over here, right? If 360 is 2 over 3, then what is 1 over 3? 360 divided by 2 is 180. This is 1 over 3. This is 1 over 3, right? That he gave away. So 360 plus 180 is actually 540, right? So for Samuel, he had 360. We are taking back this 180, right? The same 180, okay? And 180 is left, right? 180 is left. All right, this is our second step. Now let's check lastly. Samuel gave 1/4 of his stamps to Paul, right? So they got these two numbers. 1/4 of his stamps to Paul, right? What does that mean? It means if he gave, this is his 3/4. 3/4 left. Yeah? 3/4 left. So the first transition, the first stage is, let me erase it. Samuel gives the first stage. Samuel gives to Paul, right? Okay. So if here 180 is 3 over 4, right? Then we need to find what is 1 over 4. 180 divided by 3 is 60, right? This is our 1 over 4. So 4 over 4 is 180, which is 3 over 4, plus 60, which is 1 over 4, right? 3 over 4, 1 over 4. Okay, and it is 240. 240. I'm going to erase this. 240. Okay? So this 60 we are taking back from Paul, right? So he had 540 minus 60. He had 540 minus 60, right? And we get 480. All right? Okay, so these are your two numbers. These are final. So this is the final answer. They ask you how many stamps did Samuel have at first. Samuel had 240 stamps at first. That's it. All right, and a problem on the last page 100, problem number 2. Each of 3 pails A, B, and C contains some water. Okay. The following steps are taken. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Right? In the end, all the pails contain 18 liters of water each. Find the amount of water in each pail at first. Same thing again. We make our table and we retract, right? What's going on? So, in our table, right, we need to do our stage. To follow the stages, we need to do our working. We can call it working, right? This is our calculations and our 3 pails, A, B, and C. Okay. All right. Let's try to accurately separate it. Everything. Oops. Why do you don't draw? Come on. All right. So, okay, that's not very accurate, but I'm sure you can do a better job. All right. So, final stage. Finally, they tell us all the pails contain 18 liters of water. All right. So, 18 liters here, 18 liters here, 18 liters here. Okay, this is our final stage. Done. Basta. We're good. So let's go step by step, but now we go steps back. Right? Step 3. 1/4 of the water in pail C is poured into pail A. All right, so C to A. This is our step, right? This is our step 3, right? C to A. Pail C, right? They tell us 1/4 of the water in pail C is poured into pail A. What does that mean? It means 3/4 left, right? This is 3/4 in the pail C, right? So pail C is actually 18 divided by 3 times 4, right? 24, all right? So we just returned. So, okay, maybe if that's confusing, right, we can do it as a fraction. Okay, as a fraction. So let me explain it again. Right, right now pail C is 18 liters, right? In the final stage, as we discussed, right? So this is 3/4, and before that, 1/4 was moved to pail A. Well, if 18 liters is 3/4, how much is 1/4, right? Obviously, right? 18 divided by 3, which is 6. Okay, so before that, it means 18 plus 6. Pail C had 24 liters. All right. So we return these back. So for pail A is actually losing these 6 liters. So 18 liters. So okay. Let's write it again for our pail C. Pail C is 18 divided by 3 times 4, 24. Now our pail A is losing these 6 liters. 18 that there are here minus 6 liters that we calculated, right? Minus 6 is 12. This is our second step back. 12 liters and nothing is changing in the pail B. Boom. Second step done. Third step done. Step 2. 1/4 of the water in pail B is poured into pail C. Same thing, right? So this is, we call it B to C, or step 2, right? Step 2. So what's happening again, right? 1/4 of the water in pail B is poured into pail C, right? So it means this is 3/4, right? So again, 18 liters. So pail B right now, it has 18 liters, and this is 3/4, right? 3/4. Okay, so we already know that 1/4 is 6 liters. So we return this 1/4, right? Pail B is 18 divided by 3 times 4, 24, right? That's another way to calculate it. So 24 liters, right? 24 liters. And we return this, we take it back from pail C. Pail C, it has now 24, right? But we need to take back our 6 liters, right? Because we put them back into pail B. So 24 minus 6 is 18, right? This is 18 liters. And nothing changed here, 12 liters, all right? We just did our second step. And the last step, A to B, step 1, right? What happened here? 1/4 of the water, absolutely same thing, right? But now pail A, right? We have 12 liters. Our 12 liters is actually a fraction of 3/4. So 1/4, right? 1/4 is 4 liters. So 12 plus 4, pail A is 16 liters. Or you can calculate it like this as a fraction, basically. Pail A is 12 divided by 3 times 4. So same thing, 16 liters. 16 liters, okay? Now pail B. We just put this 4 liters back, so we take it from pail B, right? So pail B had 24 liters minus 4 liters, 20 liters, and pail C is the same, 18 liters. That's your answer right here. 16 liters, 20 liters, 18 liters. So you can write it as a sentence, right? So pail A had 16 liters, pail B had 20 liters, and pail C had 18 liters. That's it. All right. See you in the chapter 6.